Autographs, autographs, autographs. Ahoy everybody, and welcome to another autograph collection update. So these are all the signed goodies I've received since the last one of these, barring any ones that I've shown you in other merch videos, unboxings, etc. I've got a few bits and bobs here. I've got CDs, I've got signed LPs, signed pictures, signed programme, signed poster, mostly music, but a couple of other film and TV stuff. So yes, let's get cracking. First up is a poster I bought when I saw one of my favourite bands, the Blue Tones, live at Portsmouth's Wedgwood Rooms. If you remember the last video when I got the Sleeper poster signed, and it all got a bit squashed. This time I waited to the end of the gig to buy the poster because I knew they had plenty, and they supplied it in a cardboard tube as well. It's been rolled up since, so it's a bit curly, but bear with me. But ooh, there we go. Nicely signed in silver by the band, next to the caricatures of them. And as you can see, Portsmouth gig was the first night of the tour. And this was limited number 6 of 200. Now I've finally shown you this, I can straighten that out and file it away, which is good. Okay, then I used my pure HMV points to get a signed Lisa Stansfield CD. This is her latest album, Deeper. You can see nicely signed in gold on the front. Really like Lisa Stansfield. I've got a box set of that grey one there. Nearly all her albums. I think it's all of them except the album previous to this, which I haven't got yet. But yeah, really good new album. Still very reminiscent of her older stuff, 80s, 90s stuff, but one track on here is my favourite thing of hers she's ever done, and that's track 12, Butterflies. Very funky song, really good, really enjoyed that. So yeah, I heartily recommend that album. Another signed CD is a reissue of Alita Adams' Circle of One. You can see signed nicely, all the best, Alita Adams. Bought this through Super Deluxe Edition, which is a website that deals, and by deals I mean talks about Deluxe Edition physical formats, music releases. Paul, who runs the site, was involved in the making of this album. He's done the liner notes, amongst other things, and he managed to secure a couple of hundred, I think it was, that Alita would sign. And he sold those through the website, and I managed to grab one of those. Most famous track on here by Miles is Get Here. You know, you can take me by aeroplane, etc. But a good album. The second disc on it is remixes, but it's fallen into the trap, which annoys me, where they put all the remixes of one song together. So it's got 4 remixes of Circle of One, followed by 8 remixes of Rhythm of Life. And it could do with those being broken up a bit. Bear with me, just got to let the cat in. Okay, sorry about that. Yeah, so you know, by the time you've heard the 8th remix of Rhythm of Life in a row, it's a bit much. So you know, they could have done a Circle of One, a couple of rhythms, Circle of One, a couple of rhythms, etc., just to break it up a bit. But otherwise, a good issue and a good album. Then, which was it? Cardiff Film and Comic Con, run by Showmasters. It was my weekend off. I could have made it, but there was only one guest who I really wanted to meet, so it wasn't really worth the time and expense of heading up to Cardiff. Which is, you know, it's a guest I did really want to meet, so I was highly tempted, but instead I used their pre-order service. It's an actress I hope to meet after I saw her in a play. She was in The Misanthrope with Keira Knightley. But when she came out of the stage door, she was a heads down, gone type person for whatever reason. But since then she's been in Game of Thrones, which has added to her collectability, shall we say, but she's been a favourite actress of mine for a long time. That's Tara Fitzgerald. Bit limited on the pre-order service of what photos I could choose. I could send in my own, but that's extra hassle, and I don't like hassle. So it is a Game of Thrones picture, and I paid the extra £5 to have it dedicated. So it's, what's it? Yeah, Martin, with my best wishes, Tara Fitzgerald. So that's that one. Trying to eliminate as much glare as possible. There we go. So really happy to finally have her in my collection. And what I started doing with their pre-order ones is they put a hologram on to certify they're original, which is nice. Okay then, when was it? Start of June. Yes, 2nd I think it was. I went to see one of my favourite people on the planet, Danny Baker, give one of his tour de force shows in Southampton. Went to see him last year on his first tour, where the nearest he played locally was Basingstoke. So I went up there to see him. It was a 3.5 hour show, and then after the show he set up camp at the merch stall and signed for anybody who wanted, and he must have been there a good hour after that doing that, which was really good of him. So I met him then and got his programme signed and some photos with him. This year he wasn't doing that, mainly because the shows were even longer. It ended up a 4.25 hour show. Started at 7:30, didn't finish till 1/4 to midnight. So yeah, that was wow. Really good show. But what he was doing instead was each evening he was signing 50 programmes, all of which he's put a unique quote on based on an album in his record collection, which is extensive to say the least. So I made sure I was there nice and early so I could pick one up. So it's Tonight Gonna Vibe That Old Instant Karma. Shine On, Danny Baker. Then we've got some signed vinyl for you. Well, for me, because it's mine. This is Midge-Ure Orchestrated. It is, as you can see, nicely signed on the cover. It's 2 LPs. It's basically orchestral reworkings of his songs, that's solo and Ultravox. So it's got him and Dancing with Tears in My Eyes and If I Was and Vienna and Reap the Wild Wind. It's a very good album, but Midge's voice isn't what it used to be. Let's put it that way. It's showing signs of age. I bought this and on CD. The CD came about a month, possibly a bit more, before this. That was unsigned. Then this came a bit later. This is on clear vinyl, so I'll show you one of them. It's a nice clear vinyl as well. 2 discs, both the same. And that's the gatefold. So yeah, really good orchestrations, but as I say, his voice is on its way out, shall we say. And then also on vinyl, yeah. Oh, is Lily Allen's new album. This is just on black vinyl, so I won't bother showing you that. But signed nicely in the top corner. Big love, Lily Allen. Still in the shrink. And because it's got that sticker on, I'm leaving it if I can. Very good album. I do love Lily Allen. I know she's controversial. I know some people can't stand her. Fair enough. But I think she's an amazingly talented songwriter and a wonderful person. I may not agree entirely with her politics, but I agree with how passionate she is about them, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's a really good album. Bit gutted, bought this through her website with CD which wasn't signed. Then a week or 2 later I popped on HMV's website and they were exclusively selling signed CDs. And I divvied and I nearly bought a signed CD as well as the normal one, but I didn't in the end because I knew I was getting this anyway. So yeah, but as I say, really good album, highly recommended. Okay, then a couple of more Showmasters pre-orders. Collectormania, which used to be their flagship show in Milton Keynes. In the last couple of years they've moved it to Birmingham. Again, I was weekend off, but the Saturday of the event was the day I was going to see Danny Baker, so I knew I couldn't go on the Saturday. Sunday I would have gone if there was people I wanted to meet on the Sunday. Unfortunately, the two people who I really wanted to meet were both Saturday only guests, so pre-order service again. So the first of which is Comedy God, one of my favourite people on the planet, Mr. Adrian Edmondson. Young Ones, Bottom, Comic Strip Presents, Filthy Richard Gatflash, so many things. Just, as I said, genius. Did pay for personalisation, but he was very busy at the event and he obviously didn't have time to do so. So it's just signed, not personalised. But really happy to have that. And then also there was Michelle Ryan, who... actress, she was Lady Christina in the Doctor Who Dead Planet. It's very early in the morning and I've got a cold, so bear with me. Yeah, was it called the Dead Planet? The David Tennant special, one of his last 4 specials before he left the role. But yeah, so that's Michelle Ryan, that's her in Doctor Who. She was also in EastEnders and done lots of other stuff as well. 4321, the brilliant Noel Clarke film. As I say, lots of stuff. A favourite of mine and somebody I really fancy. So hopefully I will be able to meet her at some point. Saw her in Cabaret when it was on tour before it went into a West End. It started in Southampton and we went to see it, and she was brilliant in that. But yeah, nice to have there. To Martin, always Michelle Ryan. So yeah, those were the 2 pre-orders from Collectormania. End of next month, July, is London Film and Comic Con. Lots going on there. Do my usual videos after that. Couple more things. They've reissued Dannii Minogue's Neon Nights album. It's the 15th anniversary. They did it on pledge. They had limited coloured vinyls, but they were gone before I could order. But I ordered the CD and that came with a signed poster. Very nice it is too. I think Dannii Minogue is hugely underrated. She's in Kylie's shadow, and I think that's unfair. I think the album prior to Neon Nights, Girl, is probably the best thing that she's done, and it predated Kylie's disco phase by a good few years. Not saying Kylie, you know, ripped her sister off or anything like that, but all the stuff Kylie was being praised for doing, Dannii had already done. I think their voices are very similar. You can be listening to it and you'd be hard pushed to tell if you didn't know whether it was Kylie or Dannii. And I think she sings some bloody good songs. The Neon Nights album, when I listened to it the other day, that's the first time I've probably listened to it in 15 years. Apart from hearing, you know, the singles. And it's a really good album, really enjoyable. I think there's maybe one track that I thought, but the rest of it, really enjoyed. One gripe with this reissue is that, you know, it's billed as a 15th anniversary special version. It's got the album and then the non-album tracks and then a load of remixes, and this time it's all nicely sequenced and what have you. But it turns out, which I wasn't aware, it's a carbon copy of a 2007 deluxe edition of the album that came out over here. So it's not that special, apart from the fact it's on coloured vinyl for the first 100 people who managed to buy it. So yeah, that's my only gripe with it, but brilliant album, and as I say, I think Dannii's hugely underrated. And speaking of Dannii's, a different Dannii, Danny Goffey, who was the drummer and occasional vocalist with Supergrass, has finally released his first solo album. He sort of tinkered with other solo projects, but nothing major's come from it. He had a MySpace page for one of them, which shows you how long ago it would have been. As I say, he's finally released his debut solo album, Shtick, and I thought, why the hell not, and ordered it through Pledge. And it's really good. It's, if you saw my video unboxing Gaz Coombs' 4th solo album, I was a bit disappointed how un-Supergrassy it was. This is very Supergrassy. So yeah, really enjoyed it. Album flew by. Yeah, recommend it. Got this on 2 formats. Got a signed CD and signed vinyl. Again, nicely signed on the cover. And this is on electric blue vinyl. I'm not sure I would call this electric blue, but it's sort of a clear, it's more an aqua to me. But of course we all see colours differently. It's the wonders of nature. But yeah, as I say, highly recommend that album. Okay, that's it. I finally caught up with all these, so I can now file them away and put them where they're meant to be at last, because I've had some of these floating around for a few months. Thank you for watching. Like if you've enjoyed this, subscribe if you want to see more, and yeah, bye.